Welcome to the Peak Season Success webinar, best practices and solutions to maximize efficiency with Descartes GroundCloud. We are going to be reviewing some of the key features and functionality to make sure you guys are utilizing the full capabilities of the platform and are best prepared for success during peak. If you've been with us for a while, some of this may be a little bit of a rehash of features you guys are already familiar with, but we want to make sure that you guys are fully taking advantage of all of these things that can help you drive success in your business. If you're a new fleet manager, or maybe you're new to Descartes GroundCloud as a whole, this will be a great session for you guys to kind of learn what we view as some of the most important things to make sure your operations are running successful, not only for peak, but throughout the year too. Couple of quick points before we jump off. There is a Q&A section as usual. If you look on the right side of your screen, there's a big button that says Q&A. Throughout the presentation, if you have questions that pop up, maybe you came in with some questions, feel free to type those in. We'll try to address those all. We have a scheduled Q&A kind of once we wrap up through the agenda here, where we'll answer those questions live here. And if we're not able to address them during the call, we'll be sure to follow up with you guys and get those addressed. We will have a survey that goes out following this. Really would appreciate if you guys are able to share feedback, what we did well, what we can improve on, if there's anything we missed that you guys think is important. And then out of those responses, we'll be doing kind of a draw to send out some swag boxes. So completing that survey also enters you into that as well. We have a recording of this session that will be going out to everyone that registered. That'll be sent out about 24 hours after this wraps up. So just a quick run through the agenda. We have, we're going through some of the equipment hardware that you guys can order. We're looking at onboarding both drivers and adding additional vehicles, some routing and dispatch best practices. We'll touch on some of the safety best practices and what ways that you guys can kind of make your operations operate a little more safely. This is a busy season. And then finally, we'll wrap up. We've got some upcoming enhancements to the platform overall that we want to share with you guys, something for you guys to look forward to, and some additional resources you guys can use to follow up, both to educate yourselves and your team on some of this. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to one of our account executives who joined us today, Peter Wensman. Peter, floor is yours.
Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. I'll be going through this. So nice intro, Mitch. Let's go ahead and get started here. So first thing is going to be obviously the hardware. If you guys need tablets, iPads, anything extra for your fleet, you certainly can get them ordered. We do have the promotion still with Verizon going on. They are offering free tablets, $20 a month in data per device. And that is a contract with them. You have the option to have Verizon or any carrier that you go through send the devices to our office in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We will enroll them in the MDM, which means we will lock them down from a driver perspective. So they do not have access to the App Store to download unwanted apps like Netflix, Hulu, fantasy football, TikTok, Instagram, those types of deals. And also it will be inside the MDM for visibility in case one goes missing. We can track it. It'll put your company name on the device as well, right on the lock screen. So if it does end up in someone else's hands, they know exactly who it belongs to. If you need some for managers, we can also remotely unlock them. So via the serial number, the support team can unlock those devices, which will give managers full access to the device. Continuing on with hardware here, so obviously the better devices. We have the Air 2 device. It is a universal unit, so it can be used in both Schedule B vehicles and in rentals. Now you do have the ability to change the status at any time. So for example, you get 5 additional vehicles rentals for peak. You need 5 better devices after peak. You deactivate them. 2 months down the line, maybe you get 2 or 3 new vehicles that add to your fleet. You can certainly use those same devices, install them into the new Schedule B vehicles, and simply update the status to reflect Schedule B versus rental. Okay. Our devices are FedEx approved AIMV technology. Do note they come with the OBD2 cable for installation. If you do need a Circle 9 pin, which has been predominantly in Freightliners, we do sell those. There are two different options on the shop for those. So one is a direct connection. One is a cable to cable, which means it will use the OBD2 cable the unit comes with, connect to the J1939 adapter. Peak technology, so scanners, so additional scanners for peak. Peak time, we do have, excuse me, we do have a partnership with Peak Technology, so they can actually download the application onto the scanner. They do have additional coverage for peak vehicles. Contact us or Peak directly and just mention that you are a GroundCloud customer so they can set you up with that type of service. Drivers, all right, so adding drivers, username and password, that is what they're going to use to log into the GroundCloud application. Okay, I recommend FedEx driver IDs as the username. However, you can use any combination that you desire. So if it's a first name, last name, first initial, however you would like to enter that driver, you certainly can. MedCard and DOT cards, you can enter those into the system as well. You can also store a digital copy of the MedCard in the driver's profile. So if they don't physically have the MedCard in their purse, hand, wallet, pocket, they can always access it via the GroundCloud application as long as there is a digital copy. Also, we will send out notifications to managers 30 days in advance of that expiration date, alerting you that this driver is due for renewal on that specific document type. Okay. You can set drivers to inactive, so if you just have seasonal drivers that are only going to run for peak the 2 or 3 months, you can certainly deactivate their profile. Next year for peak, if they come back just for peak time, you can reactivate the profile as well so they have the same username and password. Timekeeping, clocking in, clocking out. Manual versus automated, so we do have geofences surrounding terminal locations, which means we can see when drivers enter and leave those geofences. So at the end of the day, when the driver returns to the terminal and they're all done, the geofence will pick them up. It will auto clock them out, and there is a padding that is automatically added onto the back end of their time card as well. For any new account, that padding defaults to 15 minutes. You can adjust it the best way you see fit, depending on maybe the size of the terminal, but you can certainly change it to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you feel is necessary. Usually what I say is give the driver the extra minute or two versus dinging them on the extra minute or two because they will notice. There is a manual start shift and stop shift as well. So maybe you have a jumper that's in there, you need to track their time. They can certainly utilize the application, hit the start shift and shift button as well in a manual process. All of this is integrated with the driver application from the manager portal. So all the time cards will flow into the manager portal for approval and or editing before the approval. We do have a driver resource center. So this QR code here, you can scan this. You can wait for the recording to be sent out to get this QR code as well, but we do have some updated brand new driver tutorial videos that are broken down into about 2 to 4 minutes per video to keep it nice and short and easy to understand. Vehicles, adding any vehicle profiles, so whether it's Schedule B, whether it's rentals, right, assigning them either a nickname, vehicle ID, something that can identify them not only for you as the managers, but also for the drivers as well as they're going through their pre and post-trip inspections. So we know exactly which vehicle that driver is in for that day. You can delete vehicle profiles if you would like. You can keep them in there. I don't always recommend deleting vehicle profiles just because then you lose that data on that vehicle if you need it down the line. Hit the add vehicle, insert the vehicle ID. If it has to be associated to a contract, you can insert that, VIN, type, year, make, and model. All of that is present to be added inside of the vehicles section. Once the vehicles are added, you have the ability to assign the appropriate vendor device to that specific vehicle as well. Fleet management. So we do have the vehicle reminders. So you can set up reminders for any vehicle for maintenance and or inspections. So oil change, right? Maybe every 3 months you do an oil change on your vehicles. You can have the system set that reminder for you, set it for every 3 months, and it will send managers a notification that that vehicle is due for that specific service type. Same kind of concept with the maintenance records. Anytime maintenance is performed, you can insert that record into your account. Not only do you have a historical data to pull up any maintenance that was performed, but it also will help to automate the MMR. Okay, so the MMR process is going to pull a lot of the information from that maintenance records portion, and it is going to auto fill out and auto generate the MMR for you. You can also have the system sign and date each page for each vehicle as well. Once that is done, it'll give you the option to download it, and that is where you can send it off, print it off, however your terminal accepts that MMR report. Work orders are available as well. We pre and post trip. Any new account, just for reference, does default to vehicle ID and odometer as the 2 inspection points that are automatically turned on. You have the ability to turn on as many as you want, or you can keep it simple for the drivers. That information for the pre and post trip is only for you. We do not share that information with FedEx. So on GroundCloud, it just stays in GroundCloud. You can also have the inspection points be required, which forces the driver to put a value in. They cannot bypass the inspection point or get past the pre-trip or post-trip if an inspection point is required. In conjunction, you can also have it trigger warnings based upon the inspection point. Maybe you want the warning to be a true value, maybe you want it to be a false value, so you just know one or the other and you're not getting a notification for everything in between. With that being said, managers do also get notifications on triggered DVIR warnings. Routing and dispatch. All right, so inside of GroundCloud, once the sort is with the automatic, let me go back, with the automatic manifest upload, which is the connection between your GroundCloud account and your MGBA FCC FedEx customer connection account. Once that is established and synced up, we will automatically pull in your route data each and every morning. Now, once the sort is done, the system, we have a tool that is called Dispatch, and what that does is it will look for any remaining stops that maybe were scanned late, maybe were moved, pull them into the manifest for driver visibility. It will optimize and sequence that route one final time. No van scan report. Every account has a specific email address that is specific not only for their account, but for that specific terminal. So if you operate out of many different terminals inside of one account, each terminal has a specific email address for your account. Give that to your terminal staff, whether it's a P&D, sort, operations manager, area manager. Give them that specific email address, and all they need to do is send that inbound scan with no van scan report, and GroundCloud will take care of the rest. GroundCloud will automatically insert any non-visible package stop package into the driver's manifest for visibility. It is labeled no van scan, and it is optimized into the manifest as well, meaning they just don't fall to the top. They are inserted the most efficient way possible. One thing to note is confirmation on the no van scan is inside of that manifest tab within groundcloud.io. Click on that tab. That is where you can confirm that the terminal is sending it and the actual time they are sending it. And I bring up the time because I have seen where the terminal sends it at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And obviously that is not the most efficient way to do that. The earlier, the better. 5, 10, 15 minutes after dispatch, send it out. That way the driver has it early and they're not passing or too far past any no van scan stops. Time commits for the time window. So if you are Express 2.0, you're receiving that Express volume. Just a reminder, they are triangles, they are color coded, and they do optimize within that route as well based upon the time commit. So here is an example of the dispatch function. So you go into the routes tab. You can click the top box just to the left of work area name. It will highlight every enabled route, or you can individually select routes. So if you're doing wave dispatches, maybe just 251, 263, and 225 on the screen example, or going out first, you can select just those 3 individually and dispatch the others once they go out. I usually get the question, hey, can I dispatch multiple times? Yes, you can. So I don't recommend dispatching at 12 p.m., 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. However, let's say the terminal comes in, tells your guys you're dispatched, drivers can get out, you're good to go. 15 seconds later, someone comes running over and says, hold on, we got a trailer that's pulling in, we're gonna work it. Drivers need to hold. You've already dispatched in that time. Wait for the trailer to be unloaded, scanned. You can dispatch again. It will pull in all of those remaining stops that came from that new trailer. On the driver application, we have added a optimize button right there on the bottom left hand of the screen. This is very similar to dispatching. However, it is not the actual dispatch function. It will optimize, it will sequence the route for the driver right on the application. So if a manager gets busy, forgets to dispatch, or maybe forgot to dispatch one route, the driver can essentially do it right from the application using that optimize button. So a nice feature to have, especially with peak when you have extra drivers and maybe someone forgets to dispatch, drivers can essentially do it from the application right now. No van scan reports. So inside of the contact and terminals tab, like I said, with each terminal, you have a specific email address, just like this example on the screen here. You can see that everything ends in @ground2.cloud. So every email address will end just like that. Time commits, like I said, color coded based upon the time. Red, yellow, green, purple, and that light blue. Anytime you're in the manager account, you can certainly select that icon. It will tell you the recipient information and that commit time as well. As you kind of go through the colors and get those down and remembered. Full visibility both on the driver application and on the manager side of things. Status updates, we do send notifications to drivers as well if we see a time window is ending. You can see that on the bottom portion of the screen there, so it pops up kind of like a text message on a phone. They're color coded, and they do sequence, like I said before, so they do sequence within the route, so that way we are navigating the driver there efficiently to make those time windows in conjunction with the other pickups and standard ground deliveries. Time commits tab, so P&D time commits tab on the left-hand side of the manager portal. You can come in here, you can filter for a specific route. If you're all the multiple terminals, you can look at just one terminal. You can also filter for deliveries, pickups, not complete, completed, as the screen is showing here. So a lot of functionality to hone in on the time commits within a specific route or the operation as a whole. Some additional features as well. So we do have the scanner location plotting, which means it is the closed scan location. So where the driver closed out that stop on the scanner in relation to the actual pin. On the right-hand side, you can see it is designated with a barcode, and that barcode will have dashed lines, as we kind of see behind here, feeding back to the actual pin. Okay, so you can see if a driver closed out a particular stop, maybe a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles away, and that way you can talk to the driver, see if maybe they just forgot about it, if it's a missed delivery, and get that corrected in real time. When you click on the barcode, it does pull up the tracking. If you select the tracking number, it will automatically redirect to the FedEx detailed tracking website where you get to see the status and proof of delivery. There's also a stop package search. Input the tracking, it will bring up the historical information for that particular tracking for up to 14 days. And here's another example of kind of that close scan location with the barcode icon. On the bottom there, you can see the dash lines a little bit better, feeding back to stop 66. Package scan. So this is a feature located on the driver application. Inside of the manifest tab in the menu, there is a barcode icon up at the top. And if you're watching the screen here, you can see that once that barcode was selected, it pulls up the camera on the mobile device of where that driver is logged in on the application. Once it pulls up the camera, they can actually scan any FedEx barcode, and it will automatically insert that package into their manifest. Address notes, stop instructions, those are all present as well, both on the application, driver application, and manager view. Address notes will stick forever. So anytime 123 Main Street comes through the system, if there is an address note, it will automatically flow through as well. So gate codes, beware of dog, maybe a keypad entry code, maybe a specific locker box, anything you want to put inside of the specific address to always follow, make sure it's inside of address notes. Stop instructions are just for the current day. So drivers can add, hey, it's the big purple box in the 8,000 shelf, but that will only be there for the current day. It will not flow to any future days. All right, now we're getting into safety a little bit, right? So obviously safety is very important, having a safety culture, making sure that everyone's on the same page, right? Managers, drivers, owners, that it's kind of a trickle down effect, right? So safety starts at the top. If safety is important, it will trickle down to managers, which will trickle down to drivers. If it is not, you might see a little bit of a lapse in that safety culture and how drivers perform, seat belts, following distance, not stopping at stop signs, right, on their cell phones. So proactive safety obviously helps. Now what we do is we automatically send out the modules to your drivers. So every Wednesday and Saturday we send out new modules. They're valid for roughly about 10 days. There is a retake option as well. Okay, so you can certainly, if a driver missed a module, you can certainly hit the retake option and it will respit out that particular safety module. All of our safety modules are micro learning modules, which means they're anywhere from, call it 1 to 5 minutes. They're meant to get a message across, have the driver answer a few questions related to the topic, and have them get on with their day. You can assign additional training via the schedule tab or the supplemental training tab. The schedule tab is a one push to all drivers. So you choose the day, choose the training, it goes out to everyone. Supplemental, you can choose individual drivers that maybe need more training than the entire fleet. Here's an example of the supplemental training. We're going to pick on Aaron. We're also going to pick on Andrew. I'm going to select my module here, and off to the right, once that selection is made, managers, owners do get a preview of what the driver is going to view along with the questions that follow. This one that is in the example on the screen here, this is a paragraph or text. A lot of our modules today are video based. All right, so best practices, obviously get those orders in as soon as possible. Check the installations, right? Went over the J1939 adapter for those circle 9-pin ports instead of the OBD2 cable as well. The devices are going to communicate with the drivers, so they are going to send them warnings. If it does see that a seatbelt is not being worn, it will chirp at them to put on their seatbelt before actually triggering an event. Okay? Make sure you're monitoring your portal for the events that are coming in. Make sure it's the correct driver that's assigned to it. There is reactive coaching that is automated as well. So based upon the event evaluation, we'll call it seatbelt, we will automatically send out a seatbelt reactive coaching module to that driver. Install tips. So if you are replacing an old device, make sure that you disassociate the vehicle first. Okay, that way you can easily assign the vehicle right when you put in the better, and it's not kind of a where's this vehicle at. Activate new devices inside of your portal. So via the devices tab, the serial number and password are located on the bottom of each better. Type those into the devices tab. That will automatically activate, turn the unit on, and give you visibility to assign the appropriate vehicle. In addition to that, you just want to make sure that the camera positioning is accurate. So make sure that both the driver facing and row facing have a clear view. So that way it's not triggering a camera obstruction or a camera equipment notifications. There is an additional application. It's called the Wayland's Fleet app. This allows you to essentially look at all of your cameras on the app. You can check them. It does have some troubleshooting as well that's on there. So a nice kind of additional feature if you want to download the application. And here's an example of the camera positioning. So obviously the road view, the horizon there should just be above the middle of the road. And then from a driver perspective, right, we have to see the driver's face. The camera obviously can't make out anything if it doesn't know a driver's there. And also the portion of the body, right, should be unobstructed, should be able to see clearly and defined, especially for the seatbelts, distractions, to make sure that they are accurate as well. Better event, so anytime an event is triggered, it will go directly back into your account. It will be listed in the events tab where you can go in, review it. If you have to assign the driver manually, you certainly can. You'll be able to see the reactive coaching that was assigned to that driver, so down in the bottom right there. And then there is a coaching complete checkbox. So when the manager has reviewed it, had a discussion with the driver, they can select that, and everyone will know that that is completed. Dispute functionality. So if you're reviewing an event and let's say you don't agree with the evaluation, you can certainly dispute any events. Choose the reasoning. That will go back into the review team to take a look. Do note that FedEx does have the 7-day window for disputes. So it's a newer requirement by FedEx. So you only have 7 days to dispute an event. Some of the upcoming features here. So stuff we are working on. All right. So right now, we have an automatic stop completion via the FedEx scanner. So stops will be marked as completed automatically in the web application. It integrates with the FedEx scanner for real-time accuracy and reduces some of the manual steps that we've heard from drivers and managers about the drivers having to click the delivered and go button and or the attempted button. Okay. We're also working on a new manager view within the mobile application. Managers will have the ability to monitor route progress and driver status on the go, and provides quick visibility into the performance from any device. Okay. Got some UI improvements, usability updates across multiple pages within the account, a new design, refreshed design for safety, route details, and some other modules. Navigation, so improved clarity for daily users. And then we also are working on smarter stop ordering for routes. So improved GroundCloud and shelf zone stop sequencing logic. If you don't know what shelf zones is, it's a stop ordering that you can change your routes to. It's currently available. It's going to optimize each shelf individually. So it's going to essentially start with the 1,000 shelf. It's going to do all of those stops at once before moving on to the 2,000, then the 3,000. Question I usually get is what's the difference between that and follow SID? Well, follow SID is going to go in chronological order. So it is going to go 1,000, then the 1,001, then the 1,002. Shelf zones, since it's optimizing the shelf, the first stop might be a 1,099 because it is trying to optimize just that shelf the most efficient way possible. We're also going to ensure express and time commit packages are prioritized correctly because those are feeding in a little bit more throughout the network as well. Even though we do have those features, we're just going to enhance it, beef it up a little bit, and then it'll help drivers meet the time requirements with more accuracy and efficiency. Additional resources, so inside of the manager account, manager portal, you do have the help tab that will redirect to a lot of the knowledge-based articles on features, functionality, maybe it's KIs, how's that calculated, all of that is inside of the help center. There is a portal resource center, so in your account on the bottom right-hand side, you have that icon there on the bottom of the page with the 1. If you select that, it will bring up these options where you can dig a little bit deeper. And then as we stated before, QR code for those updated brand new driver tutorial videos. And with that being said, we will get to the Q&A. Mitch, I'm not sure if there's any in the actual Q&A. I haven't been able to look at that quite yet.
We have been answering a few as they've come in. I guess one week I did answer, but I think we can maybe discuss for the rest of the group as well was what format the no van scan report should be in. The question said that their terminal manager sometimes sends like a screenshot or maybe shares it another way. Do you just want to address that for the whole group here?
Yep. So it will be in the Excel file. So Excel file, and the system will accept it.
Well, if you guys have any questions, post them in the Q&A tab, and we will answer them here. We'll give it a few minutes and try to see if we can get all your guys' questions answered. We did just have one come in. Is there a way to search for a stop by entering the address?
Just via the tracking.
So they would need the tracking number.
That is correct.
Here's one. Can the pickups be put in the order of times? Can the pickups be put in the order of times of the pickups are in as the route is set up? The order.
Read that one again.
If I'm not reading this correctly, let me know. But I think he's asking if the like pickups with time commitments are ordered as the route optimizes. Like, does it take those into account?
Yes, it does, because it's part of the time commit setting. So it does look at the pickup windows as well.
Okay.
Now, I guess I'll answer this a couple different ways. So yes, it does. If it is on GroundCloud optimization with the optimized time windows turned on, it is going to look at anything that has a time commit or time window on it. So express pickups, and it is going to sequence that driver to make sure that they get to those specific ones in conjunction with the ground packages. If you are asking, can I set the route up to follow or mimic how I have it set up in FRO, the answer is also yes. The stop ordering would then change to follow manifest row order. And that essentially means that GroundCloud is not touching it or using our algorithm to route the driver. It's merely looking at the manifest on the FedEx side of things and pulling it over exactly how it has set up on inside of GroundCloud. Feature be developed to possibly add that. Definitely, possibly. We do take requests, so I will jot that down and get that over to our developers as well.
Question when we're disabling package route. I can address that if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're not going to turn anything off during peak. I mean, the number one thing is, making sure you guys are successful. I don't think anyone would think that turning it off in the middle of the busiest season is right for you guys. That is not the plan at all. We are in the process of, getting feedback from current package route customers on what features and functionality they want included, and working with our product development team to get those that are missing added into GroundCloud. So in short, it'll probably be sometime early next year, but no definitive date yet. And you can rest assured it will not be in the next few months as you guys are going through peak season. But I'll just add on, if there are functionalities that are, that you're used to on package route that maybe you're not seeing when you're on GroundCloud, please give us a call. Happy to review those, take the feedback, and incorporate, things if there's not a direct feature parity within the Descartes GroundCloud app.
Updates automatically pushed out as they occur. Correct. Yes, we do enable them for accounts automatically as we are pushing them out. Typically, what they will do is they will run tests with a few customers to make sure that it is working correctly before pushing it to the entire customer base. But yes, we do that automatically.
And we'll send out some notifications to kind of inform you guys when those are up to date. We just wanted to give you, I guess, something to look forward to over the next bit here. Little teaser.
Yeah, good question. Do all vehicle defects during inspection send an alert to managers, or do they have to go in and look over everyone's inspection? I am going to pull up my screen for this one just to help out kind of with a view. But to answer that as I'm pulling this up, it will send notifications for those inspection points you have it turned on for. And what I mean by that is when you go into, I got to share this tab. When you go into the inspection settings, the initial turn on is the checkbox. And then you get the additional drop down just to the right. And when you do this, here's the required, and then here are the warnings. So for this example, if I turn on warn on any value, every odometer that they insert, I will receive a notification. Just an example, I'm sure you don't want every odometer to be dinging you, text and email. However, let's say we go to insurance card. Let's do this one. All right, so it's turned on. Yep, I want it required. For this one, I want to know, just warn me on the false. I only want to know about the drivers that do not have their insurance card. So you would just get the notification for the drivers that trigger a false value or a no, I do not have my insurance card. I lost my spot on that list there. Mitch, what's the next one that you're seeing?
Next one we got is there a way to correct a no van scan if the driver has already been dispatched? A way for the driver to see the SID number after they're already on the route.
I'm trying to understand this one. Let's see. They're already on the route. So I'll answer the way I think, the way I'm gathering the question, rather, I should say. So even if you dispatch the routes, the no van scan can be sent after. So you don't have to wait to dispatch for that no van scan to hit the account. Once the no van scan report does hit the account, the SID is visible for the driver. The only thing that really changes with the no van scan is instead of the recipient name being there, it's labeled no van scan, but the address, the SID, state, zip, city, all of that is present. I hope that answers it.
If not, feel free to post a follow-up. Next, we got, are the missed delivery features accessible to the driver so they can be notified and help find it?
The closed scan location is not on the driver application. That is only on the manager portal. Pickups will always come in with a 0 SID just because they're a pickup. So they don't route correctly. I'd have to take a little bit deeper look at that to give an answer. Bill, do you have an example? Or if you want me to call you after this, I can get the example.
I think we got 2 questions on package route. One, I guess kind of a follow-up here. The reason they asked the package route question is because the features that are being asked about are already incorporated into package route. Yes, that is true. That is part of the reason we're not just doing a hard cutoff or haven't done a forced migration over yet. If there are features, if there are features in package route that you're not seeing in GroundCloud that are helping you run your business, we want to bring those over to GroundCloud, not just for your guys' sake, but for our customers too, and give them a bit more, give them the extra tools that you guys are finding valuable. And then I guess package route as a way to look up by address. I think that's a completely reasonable feature to add in here. So yes, we'll pass that along to our team. Next question asking where to view pre-trip inspections, or I guess pre-trip, post-trip inspections, and see what was input by each driver.
Say that again, Mitch.
This question is asking where to view completed pre-trip, post-trip inspections.
Gotcha. Mark, that's going to be inside of the fleet management dropdown, and then the inspection records. And that is going to show, based upon the driver, the date. When you click on the date, it will show every value the driver has inputted for each inspection point.
Another one on the pre-trip, post-trip. I think you might have just shown this a bit when you were in the portal, but they're asking if a driver puts in a comment saying something's wrong or otherwise indicates that there's an issue on their pre-trip, post-trip. Where do they actually mark that off so that they can get a notification, or management can get a notification?
Yep. So for this one, there is a note to management section inside of the inspection point, so you can have that turned on. In addition to that, you can have it trigger a warning. And so if you have it trigger the warning, it will send you a notification in real time with that comment that the driver made. Secondly, inside of the inspection records, you can go in, look at the result, and look at the comment as well. But if you want a real-time notification based upon a driver comment, make sure you turn on the note to management and then have the warning turned on so it pushes that notification to you and or your VCs.
And that's in the inspection settings?
That is correct. Yep, that's where you use the check mark to turn it on, and then the additional drop-down arrow just to the right of the inspection point to add those additional required and or warnings.
Next one on no van scan. When they are given the no van scan report, the SID number comes up as a 0. If the driver's already on the route, is there a way to
I'd have to take a deeper look. I can't see who sent that. Is that on your end?
There's not a name. It might show up in our question spreadsheet or whatever afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to take a look to give you a definitive answer.
Or you can call support too, and if they'll just want to probably see a copy of the no van scan and then maybe a route that were as an example, just to help diagnose it. Next question, is there a way to split up stops? That may be that FedEx says that they cannot MRL, like at, say, a very large apartment complex that would require different codes. So I'm guessing like you might have an apartment with multiple buildings. They want to put in stop notes or address notes saying here's the code for entry, and might be different buildings or different areas where they would do drop off, pick up.
Trying to think about that one for a second. If there are multiple stops at one location, it will separate them out, and there is a view all stops at one location drop down. However, since it's tied to one address per se, there's not necessarily a way to, I guess, to split them. You could certainly use subzones. And that way, if it is two different codes, you could have both codes over the same complex for either or scenario.
And so subzones allow you to draw out different areas on the map, and you could put whatever kind of message overlay in that area. You could put, if it's a large complex, you could draw out the different buildings or the different drop-off areas and put in, like, as the text overlay there, gate code 1234.
Yeah, I'm guessing what it is it's like one complex but two different entries, and they're two different gate codes is the way I'm picturing this. So you could certainly use subzones and place the first gate code over the first entry, and then the second gate code over the second entry.
I do know there's some work being done on those two to have some parity between the package route version and the GroundCloud version, I think.
Yeah, and I do
that's
know
part of the reason you're asking that, if I'm reading it right.
It's probably also due to the map annotations that are on the package route side.
Exactly.
And that is, I thought that was set to come out pretty soon. So that might actually be the initial, I guess, the fix if it's in the map annotation. But those are set to be transferred any day now from package route into GroundCloud.
Another follow-up on this no van scan question. Is there a way to edit? So maybe like, there's not a name, but I'm just assuming they're kind of a sequence of questions here. Is if the terminal sends it like an incomplete no van scan, and then they get another version that has the SID, can they resend that to their account and have it update with the new information that's been populated?
Yeah, they could send it. There's no issue with that. The one thing I would say is just look out because it might duplicate it, because now it's seeing another stop at the same address. I don't know for certain if it will, but they can certainly send it again. There's no issue with that. Is there a way to edit so that a corrected no van scan can have an SID number? Absolutely. Inside of each address stop, when you go into the actual edit stop location. So routes tab, choose the route, choose the stop. Down at the bottom, there is an SID field, and I will walk through this right now. Go to the route. I'm going to choose the stop. Down at the bottom, SID. Did a different tab. Sorry, there it is. And then down at the bottom, SID field.
I think next question here, does the no van scan report need to have a certain file name when it's sent over?
It does not, no. The actual file name that's inside of the FedEx business objects where the report is located is the ss.inbound scan with no van scan. But if they want to save it, you know, as MVS 10:30, they certainly can. It's all the same file.
They don't need to edit or anything before sending it. It's just
No, do not touch
taking
it.
the exact one, sending
Yep.
it.
Do not touch it. Don't edit. Don't filter. Send the report as is as soon as they download and generate it.
All right. Have we got any more questions from the audience here? I think that's the end of the list here, but we can give it another minute or two if you guys will have some follow-ups or additional questions you guys want to post. Give it another minute or two. And just as a reminder, as we wait for those to come in, if you do have any follow-up questions or things we weren't able to address or maybe not in whole here, you can always call our support number. They'll be more than happy to help you guys sort out whatever. That's 218-864-7900. We will also be sending out the recording of this call if you want to review anything. There was a question earlier, it should come out within like about this time tomorrow. It does take like 24 hours to process. If you don't receive it, you can reach out at the number I just gave, or we have our marketing email, just marketing@groundcloud.com. You can email us. We'll be sure to get it over to you guys. It should go to the email that you're registered here for. Another reminder, we will be sending out a survey shortly here. I think about, within the next hour or so, you should get a survey. If you complete that, it would be a great help to us to make sure that these webinars are most valuable to you guys. It'll also enter you into a little drawing to get a box of Descartes GroundCloud swag sent out to you. So that's just as a thank you there. And
Monday, the no skin report has to be edited, otherwise it has Saturday data. From what I remember, it is because they are possibly not putting a new inbound scan on those Saturday packages, which therefore they're not showing up as essentially a deliverable one or a no ban scan. I ran into this when I worked at the terminal. I'm trying to remember if it's the inbound scan and or if they're just editing or filtering the date range for Saturday. It's one of the two, Bill, and I can't remember. I'll try to find out. Older iPad get turned back on for service. That is going to be through the carrier. So wherever you got the devices, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, you will need to reach out to your rep, and they will be the ones to initiate the cellular data back on those devices. Where can we send feature requests outside of these webinars? You can always submit them via email ticket to servicedesk@descartes.com. Mitch, is there another avenue where we just have a feature request section by chance, or no?
Not the most accessible right now.
Okay.
That's probably the best way, and then that'll get over to our team who can add those in.
Mm-hmm. And it also generates a ticket, so we can see obviously how many are coming in with the time, all of that information, and it stays within the system.
I'll respond to your here just to make sure you have that email. Alrighty, I am not seeing any more questions here.
All right. Well, I do appreciate everyone that joined, that attended. Appreciate the questions, everyone's involvement in those as well. Hope everyone has a good peak season. Obviously, if there's any questions as we're gearing up for it here, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist. Mitch, if there's anything you got else to elaborate.
No, I did a quick wrap up kind of while we were waiting for those last questions to get in. So no, I think we are all set.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everyone. Have a good rest of your day and a good peak season.
All right, thanks everyone.